Hi, I'm Coach Kris, author of The Warrior Princess. I wrote this story a few years ago, inspired by a high school girls cross-country team, an amazing group of young ladies. Its messages of hope, perseverance, teamwork, perspective, and friendship apply to all ages and all cultures, every single one of us. I'm excited to share it with you today. I hope you enjoy it.
The Warrior Princess, written by Kris Ayers and illustrated by Tina Unrein. Once upon a time, there was a small secret village tucked in the hills that was surrounded by rivers, waterfalls, plenty of trees, and blanketed with magnificent wildflowers of all shapes and colors. It was breathtaking beauty. The village earned its name Felice from the people and creatures who lived there. The residents welcomed and accepted all those who entered with a happy and thankful heart. Living in Felice was a beautiful warrior princess named Kiana. Kiana was strong, fast, kind, friendly, and giving, a warrior princess. Her eyes would sparkle when she spoke. Her long hair hung just below her shoulders, and it appeared as if several locks of her hair were woven with real strands of gold and bronze. Her smile lit up a room and made others instantly at ease. She had the very important role to protect the village from naysayers and negative Nellies, since this type of attitude and behavior had no place in this lovely land. Kiana proudly wore brightly colored tennis shoes that lifted her spirits and brought her great joy. She loved her shoes because when she put them on, it was like magic. They were colorful and lightweight. Kiana couldn't help but smile because these special shoes allowed her to run faster and further than anyone else as she glided across the land. The village people relied on the warrior princess to protect their village from evil and negative thoughts. They trusted in her bravery, wisdom, strength, and kindness. The warrior princess took great pride in keeping the village safe. She would lace up her pretty shoes and run miles and miles around the edge of town, smiling the entire time. She felt free and fast. Over the mountain trails and through the wild and raging rivers she'd go. She was always alert and on the lookout for evil and negativity, which wasn't permitted in the magical village of Felice. The princess had many special gifts. She was wise and had an extra large heart that filled her chest. This unique heart allowed her to do incredible things that others could not. By listening with her heart, the warrior princess learned to be a master communicator with all of the animals she met. A few kept to themselves like Stony the snake. However, most were joyful and sang praises all day long like Chirpity-Chirp the bluebird and all of his feathered friends. They filled the land with songs of hope. Oh, the village of Felice was a wonderful place to live. Chasing off any and all negativity was a big job with many responsibilities. Because she made friends with so many of the animals, Kiana often recruited their help in keeping the land beautiful and safe. Sometimes Mr. Hawkstone, the large gray hawk with perfect eyesight, would soar high above the mountain tops and would report back any concerns. If he saw a negative Nellie approaching the village, he would quickly warn the princess. Kiana would sprint to the location and greet the negative Nellie with a smile. After a short conversation, the negative Nellie would either be redirected to go back to where he came from, or begin to smile, giggle, and allow his heart to open and fill with love and be welcomed into Felice. There were a few times the princess had to call on Bella the brown bear for help. Bella enjoyed the chance to stand on her hind legs, raise her arms, stretch tall, and let out a bit of a growl to scare off the negative Nellies. Bella, Mr. Hawkstone, Stony the snake, Chirpity-Chirp, Oscar the ostrich, and all of the other animals knew they needed to work together with the warrior princess to keep the village safe and happy. It would certainly be impossible to do this job alone, so they learned to trust one another and work together, as all good teams do. The warrior princess and her team of animal friends were very successful at keeping the village safe from negative thoughts, sadness, and gloom for many years. However, as time went on, the warrior princess noticed her shoes had become worn and felt very heavy on her pretty little feet. They had turned into ugly shoes, soiled with mud and grime, and this caused a sadness to enter the heart of Kiana. The warrior princess was so upset that her attitude began to weigh heavily on not just her feet, but also on her heart. The miles she traveled became difficult and painful. Her pace slowed, and she wasn't as efficient as she'd always been. There was even word among the villagers that some negative Nellies had shown their faces in town. Every time the warrior princess would look at her once colorful, light, and fast shoes, she only saw the ugliness in the shoes that were now so heavy and worn. In her despair, she could only frown. After one particular day that was extra hard for her to keep running, the warrior princess stopped and perched herself on a large rock near the river. Her eyes that once sparkled were now misty with tears. Her legs were tired, as was she. As she was sitting on the rock, Oscar the ostrich stepped up next to her and asked, "Warrior princess, why are you not running? What is it that makes you so sad?" "I cannot keep the pace necessary to run so far in order to protect the village from the negative Nellies. They are coming and I cannot stop them," she said with tears streaming down her beautiful cheeks. "My shoes are ugly and they feel so very heavy. I am too slow, Oscar. I can no longer do the job well and it makes me so sad." Oscar the ostrich was the fastest bird in all the land. Since ostriches do not fly, he was born to run as fast as 40 miles an hour and often run side by side with the warrior princess on many of her running journeys. Oh, what fun they had! They would giggle and tell silly stories as they traveled mile after mile. They were the best of friends. "Oh, dear princess, your feet are not heavy," sighed Oscar. "It is important in times like these to exercise your true warrior spirit. Perhaps the way you perceive your ugly shoes is making you feel as though they're weighing you down. Do not despair. I have plenty of feathers to share with you. Look, they shine so bright and make me so light. Sometimes I think I could fly." Smiling, Oscar plucked a pretty feather from his body and handed it to her. "This is to remind you that I'm always by your side and that we live in the land of I can and I will. When you run, may you feel light as a feather with the wind beneath your wings." Wiping away her tears, she took the brightly colored feather and tucked it under the laces of her ugly, worn-out shoe. "Ah," sighed Kiana, "this feather is so special. It may not allow me to fly, but look, my shoes are no longer ugly. Thank you, Oscar." Soon, more beautiful birds arrived and began sharing their feathers with the princess. Mr. Chirpity-Chirp the bluebird, Polly the parrot, Rambo the robin, and a flock of colorful friends all arrived happy to help. Everyone knows it takes more than one feather to fly. Suddenly, the princess had a rainbow of colors that the little birds had shared with her. She tucked each feather under the laces of her shoes. With her spirits lifted, the princess jumped up and thanked her good friends for helping her by sharing their brilliant feathers. Kindness matters. The warrior princess smiled, her eyes sparkled, and she swooshed off, walking, then jogging, then running so fast in her new shoes. Oscar the ostrich ran next to her, and together they set out quickly and happily on their continued quest to ward off any negative Nellies that may try to invade the village. As they ran through the forest, they were greeted by many happy birds who lived in the trees. They chirped, "Hi, Oscar! Hello, warrior princess! It is so nice to see you running in your beautiful shoes with all of those pretty feathers. Enjoy your journey on your light and pretty feet." "Thank you so much." With the help of my friends and teammates, I feel amazing and certain I can continue to protect our village of Felice forever and ever. And just like that, the warrior princess ran off so fast, all of the animals wondered if she actually flew. The end. At the end of the story, there are 29 discovery questions that help the reader grapple with the themes of the story and how it relates to our life at this very moment on this very day. Taking time to answer some of the discovery questions is really where the magic of the story happens. It's best if we can sit down and have a conversation with somebody about these prompts. But if that isn't possible, to just write down the prompts in your journal or a piece of paper and really take a few minutes of quality time and think through those answers. I would like to share a few of the prompts with you today. What does the feather in the story represent? And what feathers have you received? What feathers have you offered? If you're at a point where you're feeling a little bit anxious, or sad, confused, concerned, we know that when we do things to help others and lift them up, not only does it help the person that we're offering the help to, but it helps us too. What can you do today that would help lift and help others? I would love to hear your ideas and suggestions on ways to do that. How are you protecting your village? What are you doing well? What would you like to improve on or may need help with? I would like for you to think about your village in terms of your head, your thoughts, your heart, your body, your home, family, community, and even Mother Earth. How are you protecting your village to feel and be your best? What did it mean in the story when it said, everyone knows it takes more than one feather to fly? And how does that relate to your life? Can you identify a person or people that have similar characteristics to Kiana's friend? For example, can you think of a person or people that might be similar to Oscar the ostrich and be a loyal, trustworthy, authentic, helpful friend? Can you think of somebody that might be like Mr. Hawkstone, the hawk, that sees the big picture in things and really looks out for his friends? How about Chirpity Chirp, who lifts you up, sings your praise, supports you, really kind of your cheerleader? And who is your Bella the brown bear? Who is that protector in your life? And then, what is one thing that you have in common with the warrior princess? How can the way we perceive things make a difference in the outcome? Or can it? You can learn more about the warrior princess by visiting the website iamawarriorprincess.com. You can also email me directly at iamawarriorprincess17@gmail.com. I would love to hear your ideas, feedback, questions, suggestions, maybe even be the person that you have the conversation with about the prompts today. I would love to hear from you. Remember, we live in the land of I can and I will. One of my favorite mantras that I used to have up at school says, every single day is a brand new opportunity for passion and purpose. Every single day we have a choice. I hope you make it the best day that you possibly can, from my heart to yours. Thank you for spending time with me, and make it a great day. Thank you.